Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it's time to take a look at the free-to-play Rigur, his very first unit summonable unit in the game. And he is what I would consider a very, very good free-to-play character because he is very generic and is not locked to one specific team. So he is fire, he's magic. He's got his own gear, but it's not done yet, so I'm just going to use whatever I have available. He is defense growth, so he's obviously not going to hit super high attack numbers being a free-to-play character, not that we really need him to. But he is a single-target ult, and we don't get a lot of single-target free-to-play characters very often. They do exist, and they do come out. It's just that most of the time they are AoE units, so... yeah, I mean, it's cool if you need a fire single target character. Just remember, again, he's got defensive stats, so he's never going to hit super crazy numbers. His first skill, Orb Change. Oranges to blue. Who can use it? Any team that needs a blue orb changer. Excellent. He's got 10% gauge increase, icing on top of the cake. His second skill, Valor Strike, has nothing to do with Valor Cup, but he double alt swaps to blue, and also does a 10% or gauge increase. Cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. His Valor trait nerfs oranges. His actual trait increases his own crit damage if you have 50% or higher HP. That actually might be useful in some certain aspects as a support character. If you're running a crit build, which I'm pretty sure this Prosper team is guaranteed to crit, at least one of them is, but I don't know if you're going to leave him in a support slot. But what I like about this is that neither of these skills has a changes Determination to Prosper orbs, or changes Primal Demon, or changes Stern of Spirit orbs to whatever color. Like, those units really, really don't work that well on other teams, unless you really, really, get very lucky and you play around with them, or you just make an entire team full of that like they're meant to be done. Rigur is very, very good. The Tempest Elite Gobta is pretty much his same counterpart wherever he is, right here. Because he's doing green to blue orb changing, and he's got a single alt swap. So you have two very recent free-to-play characters who are doing, unrestricted orb changing and unrestricted alt swapping. That's very good. And then, in between, we had Veldora, who has limited orb changing, but a really good green buff. And then we had Commander... oh, where is she? Commander Glenda. And she has a commander buff, but also an unrestricted alt swap. So, I mean, this skill is not an orb change, but it is restricted to a team, which, can help if you're building around her. But Rigur has no such restrictions, so any blue team, he's going to work very, very well, and I very, very much enjoy that. Alright, we're going to start off with the meta team as it exists currently. We don't have the third and final unit. We should probably be getting that in the next couple of days. But Maribel, Violet, Lumi, Rigur, Lumi, Elmezia. So we've got a blue-focused team. We've got Lumi, who technically changes all the orbs. We've got Violet, who changes orbs. And then we've got Rigur, who changes orbs. Specifically, turn 1's orb change, because it's built for him. 2 oranges, we need these to be blues. He is going to achieve that. And also, we're going to be running a team that wants to stack. And at this point in the game, one of the most important things next to stacking teams, besides big damage buffs, is the power to alt swap. So you can continue to send more and more blue orbs to get more and more stacks of your protector. I see a lot of people who are new asking, why would you want to swap your ult away? You could just send it. It's like, you could, yes, but if it's only turn 4, and you're wanting to go to turn 8 to get, maximum power buffs, enough points to use everything, you can't be sending 5 blues. Right? You don't get as many points from it, you don't get as much protection gauge from it, which means you don't get as many stacks of your protector skill, because Maribel is stacking a lot. Up to 90% weakness strike every other turn almost, where she gets 2 uses. So having an alt swapper is definitely important in this part of the game. So turn 1, we're going to use Rigur's Orb Change. Excellent. And then we'll bring Elmezia in for Violet. and we'll run like this. We've brought Octogram Lumi for the AoE buff and the permanent alt stack. Rigur will get none of the AoE buff, because again, he's single target. But he's utility, right? If you happen to have an alt for him, great. Is it necessary for you to have an alt for him? Absolutely not. Okay, we actually got a very good hand here, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to just use the alt buff from Lumi this time, and then we'll bring Violet in, and then we can use her orb change and just get that covered, and we don't have to use Lumi's convert and make it, you know, super expensive, because we're not going to use Violet for a couple turns now, so we're going to allow her to be reset. And then we'll apply 2 stacks of control, which is going to be that 90% of weakness strike on all 3 of these characters, Rigur included. And then I think we'll try and get his ult just to show it off and what he can do on this team with a few stacks of that, so we'll send him last, even though Amicia is type advantage. So 6,300, 5,600. He only has like a 4-star Awakened Sword on him, so it's not the most powerful, and it's certainly not his weapon, but it'll work just fine. So here, alright, thank you for the super guards. The control kicks in. Now we've got an extra 90% weakness strike with another 45 coming in now. Well, at the end of this turn. And we're getting orbs for him, so we'll be relatively close to getting his ult after this. And yeah. So, Rigur. Good character. Very, very good character. I really, really implore people to get him done as much as possible. Like, if you can't clear EX2, it's going to be unfortunate, yeah. I put out 2 different videos showcasing a lot of different teams that can do it. Alright, perfect. So, we could do a couple of things here, right? The ult. If I wanted to keep Elmisia in for a couple more turns, we've got a lot of orbs for her, and this would guarantee that we get a decent amount of gauge for her. But, we could just take her out and bring Violet in. Like, we could do that too. And she's been reset now back down to her base cost. So we could use the alt swap, and then we could use Lumi's skill, but we're not going to do that quite yet, because I want to showcase the power of having a double alt swap. So we'll get Elmisia out of here. Boom. We can use Violet's orb change. Excellent. And then we'll bring in Lumi for Violet, and we'll use another stack of the alt buff. I guess we'll put the AoE buff. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Rigur, again, doesn't need it, and Elmisia is already in the back. So, 2 more stacks of control, another 90% weakness strike. Looking pretty good so far. This will get Rigur's ult, and then we'll have Elmisia's ult in the back, and it's going to be no problem because we have a double alt swapper, so we can still maximize the amount of protection gauge we get, so we can continue to use 1 or even 2 stacks of Maribel going on for the next couple of turns. Now, obviously, we don't have to, right? We haven't. This is only EX2. We could nuke with Elmisia right now, and she would annihilate. But do I want to? I want to showcase at least one use of his alt swap on this specific team. So, okay, sure, yeah. So let's orb change with Lumi. Boom. Octogram Lumi has no orbs, so there's no point in swapping her out. So we'll bring Elmisia in. And now, oh no, guys. We only have 4 blues and we have 2 alts, but I'm not ready to nuke yet, quote unquote. Why would you just send this? Well, because I want more stacks. So we're gonna alt swap away, and now we have a full hand of blues, which means that we can use Maribel now. Perfect. And then, if we send this, the next turn, we're going to get a double stack of Maribel, right? So that's now 45%, gonna guarantee us that the next turn we'll get 90%, and we will continue to stack higher and higher and higher unless Hakuro dies here. So I think we're just going to nuke after this, because we have the ults, and we have the power. So that is why you want an alt swapper on a team. Almost every team nowadays has some version of an alt swapper, whether it be a single, a double, or sometimes even a triple alt swapper. It's very, very effective. So, I think we'll bring... Nah, we'll just use Elmisia. It's fine, whatever. So, boom. So, 70% damage, alt damage for Rigur, because he's fire, and then 100% alt resistance down. We'll go ahead and hit Gobta with his ult, and we'll make sure to watch it. I don't think I've used it yet today, but just in case. And then we'll follow up everything else. So obviously Rigur does not have a lot of screen time. He does not have a lot of animations to pull from. So his ult is fairly basic. You know, free-to-play unit, 288k. I mean, it's not bad for a non-EX character with, you know, a lot of weakness strike, but primarily just one really big ult buff, or just buff in general. And then I think 2 stacks of Lumi, right? Gaia Crusher from Amicia. She's going to do a lot of damage because she's type advantage. 279. Yeah, she almost matched it with a non-EX ult. So Rigur, very, very good utility with the potential to do a single target ult, but really not what you're truly shooting for when you're using him. Alright, time to use him on an older stacking team, Light 3.0 with Shuna and Light Raphael. We've got the stun and pierce power, and we've got the stun and pierce rate, the light buff, the attack buff, light resistance down. We've got the turn 1 orb change. So we've got orb change, orb change, orb change, orb change, and probably enough power to nuke with, you know, 2 characters to take out EX5 Veldora and his 1.7 million HP. You know, I don't think we'll have to stay in this fight the entire time to get an idea of what he's using, so we'll kind of start off and see what the first couple turns look like, and then we'll cut into probably closer to the nuke where we need to use his alt swap, because we want as many stacks of Shuna as possible, because this team is lacking some of the bigger buffs that newer teams have. So turn 1, Sokka, I mean, it's built for her orb change, so that's good. And then we'll bring in Raphael for Milim, since she's got another orb coming in. And then we'll swap Sokka for Lumi. And Rigur being magic means that he doesn't really hurt anybody on this team by being, you know, a different typing. You know, attack, like physical versus magic. The light characters in these old metas, they get extra stuff from being, you know, with light characters. But Rigur, being on a team full of magic, he will still give them a small buff on the EX board. Well, sure, okay. Well, it doesn't really help if we only get 1 blue orb. So, okay, we'll just come back. Hold on. Okay, finally got a workable turn 2. So we've got 58 points, and again, to all the people that are like, Joker, you know that X unit has a skill fusion and makes them a triple orb changer. Yes, I am very much aware, but on teams like this, where we only have 58 points, I need to be able to use 2 orb changes, and I need 2 orb changes because it's not a 3 green or a 3 blue. So, orb change Lumi, who could be skill fused, but I intentionally don't, so I could do exactly this. So for all the people that are always questioning about why I don't do that, this is the reason. Not so much a big deal nowadays, because most of the big time orb changers are, you know, special converters most of the time. You know, there are units nowadays that are changing, you know, full hands of stuff, and that obviously would not have helped us right here. Like Commander Shizu, great, we still would have had 1 green left over, and we'd have no points to use anything else to orb change it. So, you know, there are pros and cons to having units like that. But there we go. We've used Rigur for his orb change on this team, this older team. Maybe you don't have access to some of the big, high-powered alt swappers. All right, we can do it again. Do it again. Like, we don't have Guy on this team. We do have Violet, technically. No, actually, we don't have Violet. I took Violet off. Never mind. I was still thinking back to the team I was gonna run. But we now have 157 points. So, do it again. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna make a cut. We're actually going to get both alts. Maybe I don't make a cut. Maybe I don't make a cut. Yeah, no, that's actually very good. Alright, so we're stacking. We've got, what, 3 stacks now of Lumi? Or not Lumi, Ashuna. We'll get 2 more, and the whole point of having the alt swap is to be like, okay, well, I want to, you know, get damage with these characters. I want to leave them in and get them stacks, but I don't want to send 4 blues. Well, we don't have that problem with Rigur, because we can use his alt swap. It'll hit 2 of the alts, which we only have 2, and then we are free to use Lumi's skill. So boom, boom, and voila. 6 blues, which means we can continue to maximize the protection gauge that we get, the points that we get, and while these characters are not EX characters, it's especially important for EX characters because we want their double alt. So we need to leave them in, we need to give them orbs, and the best way to do that is to always have them up front and not have to worry about only sending, you know, so many orbs right here. So boom, boom, boom. Now we're going to watch this whole entire fight because it's, you know, he's being useful the entire damn time. The same reason I liked Gobta, right? Gobta is the almost exact counterpart to Rigur. They're both goblins, for one. And they have an orb change. They cover each other's colors, right? Gobta's doing the greens, Rigur's doing oranges. They both have an alt swap, and combined, that's 3 alts right there. And most of the time, you're going to have just 3 alts. Wow, we're actually going to get so much use out of him. So, here's where things can go a little wrong if you have 3 alts and only a double alt swapper. So hopefully, right, this alt swap will hit Lumi and Raphael. If not, I mean, not a terrible loss, but it would be unfortunate. So that's why triple alt swappers are really good. But a free-to-play unit that's double alt swapping is still pretty good right there. Okay, so Lumi is going to miss... Well, actually, she's not going to miss anything. We can just take her out because we have another blue incoming. Never mind. So you go away. Boom. That's a lot of Rigur orbs. Sure. And now Raphael technically has an EX alt, quote-unquote, if he was capable of actually using one. But we're going into turn 7. We've done a decent chunk of damage to him. Okay, so hold on. Double alt swap. We can play around with this, so boom. And then we bring Lumi in for Soka. And then we use her orb change. Boom. And then we'll get that stack of Shuna onto both Raphael and Lumi. And then we take Lumi out. And for Milim. And that didn't work like I wanted it to. Never mind. Oh well. Sometimes I misplay. Not truly a big deal. We have plenty of points to nuke though. Rigur doesn't do anything for direct damage support. But that's a fairly good hand right there. Okay. So let's bring in... Let's see. Lumi for Rigur. Excellent. Actually very, very good. So let's light buff and also lower his stun evasion. Boom. We will then attack buff. Boom. And stun, and then pierce power, stun strike, alt resistance down, or pierce rate, alt resistance down. One more stack of Shuna. If we had a full hand of blues on that turn, we would have been looking pretty good. We still have enough points to use a full convert here, though. And I think we have enough power to take him out now. So Lumi does 640k. Alright, Raphael 826. And there we go. So we were lacking some of the big time buffs, but by having an alt swapper here, we're able to pretty reasonably get multiple alts and not have to worry about missing stacks on everybody or sending 5 orbs and being what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? There's a word and I can't think of it. Sorry. Moving on. Alright, final clip. We're going to go into a burst team. A team that's not really built for him, but we're going to try it anyways. We're going to go into Tempered Edge versus Diablo and Geld using the Exalted Champion team with the Masked Hero. Now, the problem that I have with Exalted Champion Rimuru is that his alt swap is a one-time use thing, and it changes them to rainbows. So once we use that, his skill is done. Like, he's now reduced to half efficiency. Efficiency is the word I was looking for in the last clip. Efficiency. But Rigur, you know, can orb change in this stage. And this is a blue-focused stage. Like, they want us to use blue orbs. And by using him, maybe we can get lucky, and we can get easy access to Velzard just by having a lot of protection gauge, simply by, you know, having an orb change for blues. Let's see if it actually works out, though. Okay, I mean, or the game can just give me a good hero hand turn 1, and we don't have to worry about anything like that. So I guess we'll just steal. But we'll try and get the EX ult, and we're going to need an alt swapper here, which I guess, you know, could be accomplished with the Rimuru. But if you didn't pull for that shit Exalted Champion Rimuru, because I really don't think he's that good of a character, then you have Rigur. Congratulations. Wow. Or just don't get any orbs for them. Okay. Man. What a deal, huh? What a screaming deal. Okay. All right, game. You know, you're very funny. All right, let's just steal them again. Boom. And then let's alt swap. Let's use the Veldora green buff too while we're at it. Yeah. Boom. Boom. Alt swap. No, not you. I don't want you. We're gonna pretend that Champion Rimuru does not exist. He does not exist on this level of playing. Alright. Look at this hand. Alright, congratulations. You've made it all greens now. And now we're going to get the EX ult for the hero. Why? Well, because we use Rigur efficiently. Oh. He's a free-to-play character, guys. I don't know what more you expect out of a showcase. Also, this is a wayly overpowered team, so they're not gonna live. Alright, well, he's done his job. We alt swapped. Congratulations. We've used the only alt swapper on the team. The only alt swapper on the team, guys. Okay, well, that's going to do it for the showcase, right? So, I mean, definitely Rigur is very, very helpful, and he will continue to be helpful in the days moving forward. And so I think it's important that everybody get him done, or as close to done as you possibly can. And yeah, I think I like the way that they're moving in the trends for the free-to-play characters. Sometimes there are a few outliers. You know, Primal Demon Misery being just double locked to Primal Demon is not great. So it's good that we're moving kind of away from that with some of the free-to-play characters, or being, you know, the restrictions not being quite as heavy for some other characters. But I think Rigur is a very, very, very good unit, and he will place very highly on the tier list. But let me know what you guys think. That's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.